Hey you all, Carpetbagger here, coming to you live from my bunker, 48 decamiles beneath the South. And today I wore this t-shirt, Where the Heck is Waynesville, North Carolina? But I wore this to illustrate a point, because this is something that I wanted to talk about, and that is the hillbilly stereotype. You can see the hillbilly stereotype very clearly here on the shirt. We have the old toothless man smoking a corncob pipe. He's got his moonshine jug down there and his old hound dog. So something came up recently. I used the word hillbilly in a video and certain people took offense to this. So I wanted to step back and analyze the word hillbilly and kind of determine where we're at as a culture when it comes to this word and its usage. So, what is a hillbilly? I would say the stereotype, right now I'm talking about the quintessential stereotype of what a hillbilly is, would be someone that lives in the mountains, someone who lives kind of off the grid at the same time, live in a shack, poop in an outhouse, likes to fire a rifle, makes moonshine, is always barefoot, lazy, sleepy. I think we all kind of, invoke that same image when we think about the word hillbilly. And I always found it interesting that here in the mountains, you see hillbillies used to advertise everything. Things are called hillbilly this, hillbilly that. There's the famous Mountaineer Inn, which has a giant neon hillbilly as its sign. Anywhere you go, you'll see hillbillies or hillbilly paraphernalia. You got the outhouses to pose in, the moonshine stills to pose next to. You always see the little gag, hillbilly items like the hillbilly phone. Make fun of the hillbilly. Make fun of him in a way that is not flat. He's a lazy, poor person, a lazy, uneducated, poor person. Now, I've actually got some examples right here in the bunker. I was given this little hillbilly feller years back. So you see, goofy look on his face, beard, and whatnot. And then, of course, I have this pure Smoky Mountain air. This is like the ideal hillbilly stereotype. We got the corncob pipe, the slouched look, the bare feet, the moonshine, not only the jug, but the still as well, and then the old lazy hound dog that seems to be the ever-present companion of the hillbilly. So yeah, this is the sort of thing that would be marketed, as a ha-ha for tourists of the South, a Smoky Mountain air with the hillbilly making moonshine on the front. But strangely enough, oftentimes the hillbilly is not really used in a negative way. In fact, the local high school team, they call themselves the Mountaineers, but their logo is very similar to the hillbilly stereotype. Also, there's a college near here, Appalachian State University. They actually have a giant statue of their mascot, which is a hillbilly, on their campus. But it does really, it's made me think for a while. I mean, if you look back a few decades, there was a lot of marketing targeted at another group, and that would be the African Americans. You see crude stereotypes used to sell things, negative portrayals. People apparently didn't think anything of it. They would have these crude caricatures of African Americans used to sell things. And sometimes when you look at these caricatures of hillbillies, it doesn't seem that different. It seems to have a very negative connotation to it, in the fact that it is an uneducated, poor person who's lazy or whatnot. It makes you wonder for a second, these stereotypes, are they Are they just making fun of poor people, poor uneducated people? You know, the blacks after the Civil War, obviously coming out of slavery, did not have access to schools and things like that. They were seen as a lower class, and people used that in marketing. I'm sure a lot of the same people felt that mountain people, poor mountain people that lived off the grid, were also in the same class and okay to make fun of. And like I said, with the the university and the high school using the mountaineer or hillbilly as their image, it makes me feel like there is a certain, or certainly certain people don't have a problem with the word. They almost use the word in a prideful way. And near me there's a reality show called Hillbilly Blood. It's actually filmed like a few miles from here, and it's about these two survivalists that live the hillbilly lifestyle. And one guy described it as a hillbilly as part hippie, part redneck, and he took a lot of pride in that term. And I can see how pride could be derived from it. Someone who does not rely on the government, someone who lives off their own land, lives in seclusion, doesn't ask anyone for anything, makes their own food, makes their own money. I could see how there could be pride in that. I wanted to talk to some southern people, and as the hillbilly is often associated with the South, with southern Appalachia, so I spoke with my wife, Anna, and my 92-year-old father-in-law, and they pretty much were all in agreement that they felt it was like how the N-word is used, in the fact that it is not appropriate for Northerners or, the wealthy elite to throw around the word hillbilly as an insult. My daughter takes a lot of pride in her education. She's a hard worker. She has a southern accent. She doesn't like people to assume that she's uneducated or dumb just because of the way she talks. And my wife said a very similar thing, that she has family from the north, and she said that they would tease, because she was raised here in the South, and they would tease her because of her southern accent. They would imply that her and her southern part of the family were less intelligent because they were southern. So it's a very sore spot for I think a lot of people in the South who don't necessarily identify with that term or that image. Even my 92-year-old father-in-law, he said, like the N-word, that people in the African-American community, when they use it with each other, there's nothing offensive about that. No one's gonna, no one should be upset. They're throwing that around as an affectionate term. So it's like he's saying that, like, when he's with his buddies, or visiting or hanging out with with his old friends, they can use the word hillbilly. They can call each other hillbilly. They can smack each other on the back and laugh. But he doesn't feel so great about other people saying you're a hillbilly or making jokes about hillbillies. I feel like we're on the subject. We should talk about another word, and that's the word redneck. Obviously, this is an insult, very similar to hillbilly. The redneck actually refers to sunburn that farmers and laborers outside would get on the backs of their necks. But in modern times, it really feels like people have embraced that term redneck. You see it emblazoned on the back of many a pickup truck. I almost think they've successfully taken it back. Maybe, I don't know, does that have the same negative connotation as the word hillbilly? Because, I don't know, and the thing is, like I said, a lot of Southerners do not appear to be offended by the word hillbilly or redneck. You'll see, like, on Duck Dynasty or other shows where they embrace these terms, redneck. Steve Austin called himself the Bionic Redneck. Steve Austin, the wrestler, not the $1 Million Man. So is redneck offensive anymore? Has it been completely taken? And of course, you get the Larry the Cable Guy with his redneck stereotype. But the thing is that people that self-identify as rednecks, think that stuff's funny for the most part, in my experience. So is the term redneck offensive? So I'd really like some feedback on this. I'd really like in the comments section to have a nice, polite, intelligent conversation about this. No name calling or any of that nonsense, but tell me what you feel about the word hillbilly, about the word redneck, about how it's used, the history, anything you want to comment. I'd love that feedback. Personally, what my decision is that I will use the word hillbilly when I am referring to a caricature. This is a hillbilly right here, but I will not refer to individuals as hillbillies. I will not call a person a hillbilly, a real life person. I will not use that word to describe a real, genuine, live person. So I think that's fair. Anyways, let me know down below what you think. Let's get some comments. Maybe I'll do a follow. If we get some interesting discussion, maybe I'll do a follow-up and we can discuss this further. This one's in the bag.